What is so smart about Smart Super Trend? Smart Super Trend analyzes patterns on charts and order flow associated with them and marks out these areas on your charts. Due to the design, you can use the Smart Super Trend lines in any number of ways to understand what's going on in the market you're trading. To list a few, you could use it as an entry trigger. There are 3 different ways to do this: as a trailing stop system or a position management system, and third, as a supply and demand pivot system. We'll go over each of these. The first entry trigger system that you can use on Smart Super Trend is when you initially get a new line. For example, if you get a new blue line under price, as shown in the current slide, then Smart Super Trend is telling you there's a strong buying activity going on within the recent bars. Price is not immediately likely to come down back through these most recent bars. For any of the patterns, it tells you this based on the order flow within the bars. So it is showing you something you cannot see just by looking at the chart, and something about the quality of the movement inside the bars. A trigger line often occurs after a line of the opposite color, but it does not have to be in all cases. Once a signal line is issued and the price begins to move, Smart Super Trend will often move the line as the price moves, as a trailing stop or a position management tool. So, in the above mentioned blue buy line, it would be moving the blue line up, trailing price as it goes. As soon as the line moves to a second new position from the first one, for example, a blue line is added above the first one, we call it a trail line. The second trigger system is to trade a break of this trail line, as shown in the current slide. The third trigger is the most stringent of all because you want both conditions. In this case, we get the blue buy line, but wait for price to go through the trail line. This method is telling you 2 important things that give you a confirmed entry. In plain English, Smart Super Trend would be saying, for a buy, I'm currently moving through an area of strong selling in price from the past. But at the same time, I'm seeing strong buying activity that supports the higher price change. In this way, I have a kind of value area price breakout that is occurring on strength. So enter on the trail line on a stop. In this case, we would want to set the tool offsets tightly and look for areas of good trade placement where the change in balance is occurring. You may choose to trade with Smart Super Trend on its own, but your best opportunity with these triggers will often be to filter it with support or resistance analysis or oscillator reading techniques. As is the case with any good system, there's usually elements that are working against one another, a constraining element that identifies context, and a triggering system such as the Smart Super Trend. The nice thing about Smart Super Trend as a triggering system is it is trying to make sure you're entering where your entry is somewhat protected due to the order flow. This can stack things in your favor a bit, giving you an edge. Smart Super Trend can be used as a trailing stop also. We discussed how the signal line is followed by a trail line. As a line trails price movement, Smart Super Trend is saying, for our upward moving market, I see strong buying as we go higher, so the market is not that likely to go lower here. So it's safe to move the stop higher to this area. Of course, as the market goes higher and higher, you may wish to protect your position even more by using discretion, because Smart Super Trend is always placing the levels outside of the bar. Smart Super Trend can also be used as a zone supply and demand system. When markets pivot, there is a shift in supply and demand, and from where buyers are in control and sellers are in control. These are important areas on charts, and when you see a market turn and you see the red and blue line that defines the pivot area on the chart, you can draw a box forward from that pivot. Because this area is made of strong buying and strong selling, it defines a battleground area on a chart where supply and demand have shifted. When pricing comes back into this region, you'll often see a turn again. So, you look for appropriate signals around these points. These are always counter-trend type scenarios, so you can use tags into these areas to enter with a bigger trend, or if the market is, for example, overbought, and is tagging into one of these zones. In order to draw these zones using Smart Super Trend lines, first identify a pivot on your chart, and while using Smart Super Trend in backtest mode, as shown in the current slide, find the most recent red and blue lines, or the highest for a swing high pivot, or the lowest for a swing low pivot, and draw the box on your chart using the Control F12 key. Experiment and adjust your technique as you go. Sometimes the market will not be moving much and will consolidate within a zone or between a red and a blue line. In these cases, Smart Super Trend is telling you to use caution because you're trapped between two areas of strong buying and selling. This is true because Smart Super Trend should be outside of the lines if the market is trending above a blue line or below a red line. If it is between them, then the market may be consolidating and caution may be the best policy. So what's so smart about Smart Super Trend? It can be used in many ways to meet your needs. As a triggering system, as a support and resistance and supply and demand system, and as a position management system. It can also help you to know when a market is in consolidation. These are all excellent applications of the Smart Super Trend tool. This is particularly true when used prudently in conjunction with other systems. Smart Super Trend can give you an excellent edge in your trading. Get smart and get the Smart Super Trend tool today.